What is good, y'all? Welcome back to the Here. Welcome back to a brand new video. We are here. We are back. It has been a minute, but we are here. We're gonna recap the first summer league game. We're gonna talk about the good, the bad, the ugly. We're also gonna talk about a little bit of the offseason, man. Talk about what the Heat have done, what they haven't done. What the plan is for the actual season. Let's get right into it. Without further ado, let's just get right into it. So, yeah, obviously the first game of Heat Summer League tipped off today. It was a blowout. It wasn't a great game to see by any means. It almost felt like we were playing the KD Warriors out there. I mean, they were making every shot, and it was a tough watch. But I did have some takeaways from that game. A few nuggets I wanted to share with you guys. What I thought of the games from Kel'el, Ware, Kel'el Larson, everybody else. You know what I'm saying? So let's just get right into it. Leave a like, subscribe, comment down below your thoughts, your reactions, your concerns, everything. So not just the summer league game, but also the offseason of the Miami Heat so far. It's been a little bit quiet on every single front. So talking about Kel'el Ware's game tonight, it was okay. I thought, defensively he was really good. I thought his rim protection, he had, I believe, 6 blocks. I would have liked him to get more rebounds, but I thought he was really good defensively. And the looks that he took, I thought they were pretty good looks. Even the shots that didn't go in, the threes, the jumpers. He hit one mid-range jump shot, a floater, and the rest of the shots were in the restricted area. But he shot a few threes. He missed all of them, but it looked good. It looked like it was a pure jump shot. It didn't look like it was forced or out of place by any means. It was a little bit of a rusty shooting night for him, but I liked the looks that he got. I liked the shots that he took. I loved his defensive presence at the rim. I even liked his ability to switch a little bit. Some of the concerns that people were talking about with him not being as engaged, it did pop up a little bit. Sometimes he was kind of just out there. You didn't really notice his presence too much sometimes, but defensively you definitely noticed his presence. He definitely made himself very, very noticeable defensively with his weak side rim protection, his ability to alter shots at the rim. Amazing defensive performance. Offensively, just would want him, for him to demand the ball a little bit more, be more of a presence on the boards. That'll come with time, once he gets in the weight room, gets a little bit stronger. He's a very wiry framed center. He's not like the biggest guy by any means. So, yeah, he's obviously 7 foot, but he definitely needs to put on a little bit more muscle for him to be like a kind of like a big body down low, to be a physical presence, to get rebounds and to demand the ball in the post. So definitely more of a face-up type of center. I can see him playing alongside the perimeter, but I also wanted the Heat to kind of utilize his ability to run in transition and catch lobs. I don't think he caught a single lob today. So yeah, I would definitely want, and I think the importance of a guy who can throw lobs is definitely really, really needed on the Heat. And we'll talk about the guy that they signed, Alec Burks, but Kel'el Ware was pretty good. Kel'el Larson was okay. He's just a guy that I think will just fit. He'll find a way to impact the game. I can see him coming off the bench even in an NBA game and hitting a 3 or 2 and playing good defense. He was pretty active defensively. He was missing some shots, and he was definitely not shy to take them, which I like. But he had an off night, which is, I think, everybody on the team pretty much had an off night. But yeah, you can see the vision with that pick. You can see what Keyshawn Johnson brought with his hustle and energy, with his defense, his athleticism. Zion Pullen, I thought Zion Pullen was really good. When he came off the bench, we were early on when we started the game, we were in a pretty big hole, and then Zion Pullen came in and he completely transformed the game. He helped us take the lead at a certain point. He was really, really good for us. I thought, he won't really get the credit or the notice that he should get, but I loved his ability to settle the whole team down and be like that point guard, the true point guard that always makes the right decisions. His feel for the game, his pace that he played at, excellent. And people who watched him at Florida will know he had the highest assist to turnover ratio in the SEC. If you know Zion Pullen, you will know about him. He's a good, really, really good player. And that does not surprise me as somebody who's watched him for a long time. Zion Pullen is nice. Alondes Williams, pretty disappointed in him. I thought that was like a pretty big disappointment for me. It was Alondes Williams. Cole Swider I thought was okay. He hit a couple of shots here and there. But Alondes, for somebody who's as talented as him, I would have liked to see him play better. But it's just one game. I'm assuming these guys will shake off the rust. But yeah, man. That summer league recap. onto the offseason talk. It's been a quietish offseason for the Heat. We've been linked to certain guys here and there, to DeMar DeRozan rumors and the Lowry marketing rumors and even Brandon Ingram rumors, but this is basically what the state of the Heat is. Now, obviously today, Caleb Martin signed with the Sixers, so he's no longer on our team. Currently, the Heat have, I believe, 14 roster spots, but soon to be potentially 13. They're probably going to waive Orlando Robinson. So they can probably bring in one, if not two guys maximum. And what you have here is, we get Alec Burks. Alec Burks is a pretty good pickup. This is a guy who shot really well from three-point attempts in the playoffs in the regular season. He shot well from three, 38% of the regular season. I believe he shot it in the 40s in the playoffs. Really good three-point shooter. Now, his finishing statistics were pretty awful. I mean, he was, I believe, dead last at finishing attempts in the paint. So I think he was really just brought here as a spacer. But he can definitely run the offense. He can be a backup point guard for you off your bench. He can help you run the second unit. I like that pickup. I thought losing DeLon Wright was pretty big. I'm not going to lie. I mean, people will not understand, but losing DeLon Wright and Caleb Martin and potentially Haywood Highsmith, those are three really good defenders that you're probably going to lose. I mean, Haywood is up in the air. I'm not sure if he's going to be back or not. I'm not sure if they're trying to work out a sign and trade with him. I thought Caleb Martin would have been signed and traded because that's why they were taking so long. But it ended up that Caleb Martin was actually fumbling the bag. His agent, he declined a 5-year, $65 million offer with Miami because he thought he could have made more. And suddenly he decided he found out that the market was not favorable to him and he had to settle for a 4-year, $32 million contract. So, I mean, his agent should be fired. I'm not going to lie. I mean, I feel bad for him because he was led completely the wrong way. I would have, if I was him, I would have accepted the contract. Now, if I'm Miami, I think we dodged a bullet. No disrespect to Caleb, but I'm not sure why we even offered that contract to him. I mean, 5 years. So it's not like a terribly expensive deal, but I did not want to, for us to, make the same mistake by paying and overpaying some of these guys or giving them 5-year contracts like we did with Duncan Robinson or some of our role players in the past like Tyler Johnson or James Johnson, Kelly Olynyk. Like, I'm glad that Caleb Martin found a new home. I was expecting it. I was in the camp of trading him at the deadline and stuff, so we would have gotten some value for him. But I'm happy that he's chosen a winning situation. I'm not happy that it's Philly, but that's his decision. I thought he fumbled with the contract. If I was him, I would have accepted it. But I think Caleb basically saved the Heat from themselves here because I'm not sure who was dumber, if it was the Heat for even offering him that contract or if it was Caleb for declining it, because none of those things should have happened. But he's off the team. So essentially right now we're kind of in the period where we're just itching for any or every rumor that we can, like whatever we can talk about, whatever jersey swap we can make with any player who's out there. Heat fans are just wanting anybody. And I understand that. And I'm at the point where I'm like, shoot, we need somebody. Like, I understand that this roster is not going to cut it. Bringing back Haywood Highsmith and calling it a day is not going to cut it. You need a significant upgrade. Now, the problem is the Miami Heat currently only have one tradable first round pick. Now, we can potentially have two. We got to talk to OKC about protections to unlock a second first round pick that can be tradable. But right now, we only have one first round pick that's tradable. And unfortunately, Tyler Hero is not an asset that teams really want. I'm not even sure if Tyler Hero is an asset that Miami wants to give up. But Tyler Hero is not an asset that's coveted around the league. And Duncan Robinson's contract is, not coveted around the league either. So there's a couple of different things the Heat can do. The Heat can, to try to facilitate a DeMar DeRozan potential sign trade, which I don't think is going to happen now because the Caleb Martin ship has sailed. The Heat could trade Tyler Hero or trade Duncan Robinson and dump him or dump either of them to a team like Detroit or a team like Utah, Orlando. Actually, I don't even think Detroit can take on any of them anymore because they just signed a couple of players. They signed Malik Beasley. They signed Fontecchio. So I'm not even sure if Detroit has the money, but I know Utah does. And Utah, what I'm actually kind of interested about Utah is that Lauri Markkanen is a guy that's out there. Now, the Warriors are keying in on Lauri Markkanen. I think the Warriors have a better package than us if they were offering everything that they have. But they're, reporting ESPN that they're not even offering Kuminga. So if the Warriors are not offering Kuminga, I think by doing some work, by unlocking protections on the second pick, I think we can either come close to matching or match that Warriors offer. And I'm not sure why we're not all in on Lauri Markkanen. I mean, there was a report saying that we were from Zach Lowe, and there was a report, from Mark Stein saying that we were in for him from ESPN, and local, outlets here shut that down. So, I mean, I'm not sure what is true and what's not about Lauri Markkanen. I really want us to be in on him because, out of everybody who's potentially going to get traded, the ship has sailed for Donovan Mitchell. The ship has sailed for Trae Young. I don't think he's getting moved anytime soon. I think the Zach LaVine thing is not going to happen to Miami. I don't even think he's going to get moved, to be honest. Brandon Ingram could get moved, and the Pelicans could, want to trade him away. But I'm not sure why the Pelicans would need another guard when they just traded for DeJounte, because it would be a Tyler Hero deal, unless a third team got involved. And then Lauri Markkanen is the last guy. Now, there is a possibility of DeMar DeRozan, obviously, but I think DeMar DeRozan is pretty much going to be a Sacramento King by the time this, weekend is over. So I wouldn't really get my hopes up on DeMar DeRozan. Really, to me, it's Lowry and BI, and if you don't get either of them, you pretty much strike out. Now, the Miami Heat have obviously they have let Caleb Martin go. They have brought in Kevin Love. They brought back Thomas Bryant. They have drafted Kel'el Ware. They still have Orlando Robinson technically on the roster. So they have about 4 backup centers at the moment behind Bam. Now, I'm not even sure why we brought back Thomas Bryant. I mean, I thought we had Bam, we had Kel'el, we had Kevin Love. I thought we were pretty good on front court depth. But okay, they brought back Thomas Bryant. Now they're talking about, bringing back, Orlando. And I would be like, no, just waive Orlando. Don't worry about bringing back Orlando Robinson. You don't need 4 backup centers on one team. You don't even need 3, but they have 3. That's whatever. To me, either the Miami Heat are doing one of 2 things. Either they are, they have a plan that none of us know about, which is why they're bringing back the same guys. They're letting some of these players go. They're not, heavily in on some player. Like they're floating under the radar heavily because they're in on somebody that we don't know about. They have some plan that we don't know about, or they are hoping that some domino falls during the middle of the season where they can make a trade. Or the last option is that they're setting themselves up for next year's free agency class by staying under the second apron. Either of these is possible. I'm not sure which one it is. But if I was a Heat fan, I wouldn't get my hopes up about a new revamped roster. I think it's going to be pretty much the same team. Unfortunately, I think all of us want to see a new roster. I think, or not. I mean, not complete a new roster. We want to see a newer core. We don't want to see, Tyler Hero, Jimmy Butler, Bam Adebayo as a big 3. We want that to be shaken up. Jimmy and Bam are fine, but when you have Tyler Hero who's been on this team for 5 years, going on 6 now, we've had opportunities to move him, and we didn't. And I think it's gotten a little bit stale with him on the team. Now, no disrespect to him, but we want to make sure we maximize his window. Now, if you're not going to maximize this window, then I would suggest the Miami Heat just trade away Jimmy Butler and go into a reset. But the problem with doing that is if you trade Jimmy Butler, you would want to trade him for a guy that's going to fit Bam Adebayo's timeline. And that's the biggest, the struggle that they have to figure out now. They are in a very bad spot because of the contracts that they handed out in the past, because of the Tyler Johnson, James Johnson, Hassan Whiteside, that whole class, 2016 class where they handed out all these contracts to these players. They have had to unload them by trading away first round picks. So they don't have draft capital. They don't have, the picks necessary that are so coveted by these teams when they're trading away their star players. You need first round picks to trade. So we cannot be in on any of these superstars because we don't have the picks necessary because of the fact that we had to attach picks on top of these bad contracts in the past to trade them away and get off of those contracts. So because of that, we don't have picks because of and then secondly, we don't have any asset that really is being coveted. Like, nobody really wants Tyler Hero around the league. Like, people, like, I feel like the Heat as an organization value Tyler Hero 10 times more than any other team does. Like, he is not that valued around the league. I'll tell you that right now. And then Jaime Jaquez, although he was good last season, is already about to be 24. So, listen, Nikola Jovic, again, unproven a little bit. He had a pretty good year last season, but still needs to show more. And then nobody has seen Kel'el Ware play yet in the NBA. So, this is the concern. If you want to upgrade your team, if you want to upgrade the Heat realistically, if you want to get a player that's going to help Jimmy and Bam right now, the issue that they're facing right now is that they don't have the assets that are necessary to go out and get a big splash type of player. And second of all, they cannot sign anybody either because of the contracts that they have given out. Because of the fact that they're paying 5 players on this roster $20+ million already, that being Duncan, Tyler, Terry, Jimmy, and Bam, they have pretty much hard capped themselves. They are they're over the first apron. They're $6 million away, I think $6.9 million away from being over the second apron. So they're trying to teeter under the second apron so they don't get themselves over the second apron. Either they're waiting for a guy, and I'm not sure who's going to be out there that is going to be a good mid-level exception, because we still have our mid-level exception to offer. Unfortunately, all the big name free agents and the valuable free agents are off the board. There's nobody. I mean, Tyus Jones, I think, is the best free agent. I would like Tyus Jones on this team, but I don't see them signing Tyus Jones because they just signed Alec Burks. So I'm not sure who they're going to target with that mid-level exception, but my belief is that they're trying to explore a trade and figure out some sort of situation where they can get out of this cap situation that they're facing and do a 3-team or 4-team trade, dump off Duncan's contract to somebody, clear up some cap space, do something in that sense where you can upgrade your team internally. Or, I think the most likely situation is that they'll probably just sign somebody like a Haywood Highsmith with their mid-level exception, and I think they'll run it back. So it's not looking too great. I mean, I'm not going to speak too soon and write off this team yet because, not crazier things have happened, and we don't know how this team will perform even with as the same core and stuff like that. We're not sure. Maybe we were all wrong, and maybe the team really is good enough, and that injuries were the only thing holding the team back. Now, I heavily disagree with that. I think that there's a lot of things that we have to improve on. Now, I definitely hold that sentiment and opinion right now, but until we see this team play, we won't know. So we can't do anything right now besides just pray that this team gets upgraded. But I'm telling you right now, don't get your hopes up. I've seen a lot of people on social media already speculating about how will the new lineup look if we get this player, that player. Listen, you guys, I understand people want to dream. It's good to dream, but man, don't be foolish now, because realistically, it's not looking great. It's not looking great. We are probably most likely going to run it back, and we're probably going to have to accept that, because I'm not really sure who's out there for the Heat to want to go get and make all these strings and pull all these strings to go out and get people. I mean, to even get DeMar DeRozan is a big hassle for them. They have to move off of a few contracts. They have to go and do a sign-in trade with the Bulls. Like, he doesn't want to take the 5.2 MLE. Like, we don't know, who is going to be out there for them to even realistically get. So until then, sit tight. Enjoy Summer League. Don't worry about the offseason too much, man. If we get somebody, we get somebody. I've accepted it at this point that we're probably going to run it back. You guys should probably do the same thing so you guys don't get too mad about the fact that we're probably going to run it back, because I don't want you guys to be like, oh my God, we shouldn't have run it back. Listen, you're absolutely right for feeling that way. I'm not telling you not to feel that way, but it's always easier to get over whatever you're mad about if you just accept it. Like, if you're mad about the fact that the Heat are going to run it back, just accept it, man. Just accept it. I've accepted it. It's probably going to happen, and we'll see what happens during the season. We don't know. We have no idea. Maybe someone becomes available. I'm just looking forward to this watching the summer league, watching USA basketball and Bam Adebayo playing in the Olympic team. And whatever happens with the Heat, I guess we'll just react and move on from there, because everybody knows that we should upgrade. I don't think it's a secret. Even somebody who's blind could have probably known that we should have upgraded our team. But again, it isn't 2K where you can just go out and handpick whatever players you want to. You have to have the assets, the money, the teams who want your players. Unfortunately, the Miami Heat have put themselves in a position where they have not been able to maximize their assets in the past. They've given out some terrible contracts. They've had to trade away their first round picks. They put themselves in a very bad situation with their cap space, and because of all that, they're in a position where they're probably not going to acquire anybody of significance until they get out of that purgatory. So that is the latest on the Miami Heat, the whole offseason report, my thoughts. Again, I've always tried to be optimistic on this channel. I've never really tried to, be like a down in the dumps party pooper type of guy, but it's not really much to look forward to with the offseason right now. Like, when you're looking at everything that's unfolding, we're not in a position where we can go out and be big players right now. Like, we just don't, like I said, because they put themselves in this position, we're just in this spot where, like, we cannot do anything about it. Our hands are kind of tied behind our back, if you know what I mean. So we'll see what happens. As far as Summer League is concerned, it was a tough loss today. I hope these guys come back and play harder and get some rhythm offensively. I thought the defense was, could have been a little better as well. But Kel'el Ware showed some flashes. I liked his rim protection. Hopefully we see more of him, in the next game. I'm not sure when it is, but in the next game. And yeah, we'll wrap it up here. Make sure y'all drop a like, subscribe, and comment down below. Let me know all your thoughts in the comment section below, man. I said a lot in this video, so let me know your thoughts. I'll see y'all later as always, man. Have a nice day. Peace.